ain't nothing but a G thing. It ain't nothing but a G thing. Different conversations with different generations. Well, you gotta keep it G, man. It ain't nothing but a G thing. It ain't nothing but a G thing. Different conversations with different generations. You gotta keep it G, man. What's good, y'all? Your boy Fitty Santana, tapping in with Gconnet, where different generations have real conversations. You already know the vibes. Let's go.
On the Gconnet, it's your girl, Miss Toy, and always stay connected, all right?
What's happening, y'all? This is CJ Mac coming to you live on Gconnet.
This is your girl, Queen Jean of the G Lou Show, tapping in with Gconnet, where different generations have real conversations. Check out the YouTube channel, the Gconnet. Peace.
Hey, it's your boy Cooley tapping in with Gconnet, where different generations have real conversations.
It's your girl, Christine Carolyn, a.k.a. the Comedy Cougar, and I'm tapping in with Gconnet, where different generations have real conversations. Pull up, check us out. We here, we live, we direct, we in your face with it. Connect.
What it do, folks? It's your boy G2B. This is Generation Conversation Network, better known as Gconnet. And today we got the lovely
Lady O,
the lovely
Queen Jean,
and the homie
Your boy Cooley, what's happening, man?
in the building, tapping in with Gconnet. We just here to have a conversation as adults. You know, we different generations. We all different generations. I think Lady O probably the youngest. You know, it don't matter who the oldest, but you know, it ain't me, dog.
And well, you know, that would make it me.
Or me.
Hey,
or me.
hey, we'll never know. But it
We'll
ain't
never
me.
know. You know, ladies never tell. You know, when they pass away on their tombstone, it's only gonna have when they died. It ain't gonna have when they was born.
But good. I love to tell my age. I love to put it out there.
How old are you?
I'll be
19, dog.
64 in August.
How old?
I'll be 64 in August.
Woo! Goddamn! I would have never thought.
Thank you.
I never thought.
Over there.
Hey, black don't crack while you bullshitting. She shocked me and I'm black. Shit.
That's why I said I don't mind telling my age. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel truly blessed.
Yeah,
So,
me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. Hey, I get offended if you don't card me.
Right?
you like, you don't need to see my ID?
Yeah, I'm like, what you mean? Hey, you supposed to ask me for my ID, bro.
Yeah.
know I don't look 21.
Yeah, indeed.
Hey.
You got to be grateful, though, right?
Yeah, most definitely.
Bless, man. Especially in this climate, man, and what the world is today, man. Anybody that's sitting here right now, which is us four, we blessed to be here.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know?
I totally agree with you. Yes.
Yeah.
Speaking of blessed, wasn't it like I don't know how to segue into this, but what was your thoughts that we spoke about the other day, Cooley?
Well, you know, I mean, when you just spoke on the word blessed, I mean, you know, I'm sure we I believe, right? So, you know, I grew up Christian, you know, grandmother, church, Bible study, youth meetings, Sunday school, sung in the choir. You know, I did all that, you know. But as you get older, you know, you start to ask questions. You know, for me, you know, 54, you know, I've always had questions. You know, so many things are just like contradictory. And at the same time, it's like you always told growing up, like, you know, don't question God. And my thing is like, well, why wouldn't you? You know, why does it not make me human to question why? You lose somebody you love, you lose somebody that's close to you, you know. Of course, as a human, you're going to ask why. Does that make it a sin? Does that make it wrong?
No.
So?
But do you ever get the answer when you ask why?
No, because you never get the answer. But I believe that at that point, you always have to look at, I'm an optimist, right? So
Right.
I look at the glass as half full. So, you know, I've dealt with grief, losing my father, losing my grandmother, and I've always questioned, like, why am I not more emotional? You know, maybe I deal with death differently, right? You know, I don't go crazy. I don't lose it. I can move on, you know, because I know it's part of life, whereas some people can't, right?
Mm-hmm.
So does it make it wrong for those people that can't to question?
No, it doesn't make, because I mean, sometimes you even get mad at God sometimes. I too
Right.
kind of follow your journey as far as background of Christianity. My grandfather was a preacher, so my mother's father was a preacher, which is Bill's great aunt, I guess she would be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so I was following religious for as long as I knew, because that's what I knew. But
Right.
when I started out on spirituality, it was a whole different ball game for me. And
Right.
it was somewhat like freedom. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
because when you're under, for me, I'm just speaking on how I believe.
Right.
When you're under religious belief, you scared to even, I wouldn't even be like this. You feel me? Because it's a
Right.
sin. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So when you're religious, but being spiritual, you have a more sense of freedom, because you have this, you realize that it's your personal relationship with the Most
Right.
High.
Right.
And if you start worrying about what everybody else is thinking or how you carrying on, oh, you call yourself a Christian and what?
Right.
Oh, touch my pearls. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, what are
Right.
you doing? So when
Right.
you're under the spiritual realm of it, you're more free. You can take your shot and don't care about being judged. Right. Whatever you indulge in as far as your hobby, you know, you don't have to worry about being judged. But when you're a Christian and you're following that religion, oh my goodness, that
Now,
for
see,
me,
I totally agree with you, like 100, and that's kind of like where I'm at, right? It's like I grew up with the religion, right? I grew up with, you know, listening to, like I was telling Bill, it's like I believe in God, right?
of course,
But the same God that the white man has taught me about, it can't be the same God. Can't be the same God. The guy that y'all talking about and the guy that I believe in can't be the same God, because everything is contradictory to what you say.
Right.
But yet you told, don't ask questions. Don't question. It's like, wait a minute. You know, that's when you get, when your light comes on, now you looked at as blasphemous or, you know.
Non-believer.
Non-believer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know. And I think that religion, the word and the whole thing, religion, I think it boxes you in.
Right.
It makes you afraid, like you said, of everything. I'm afraid to have a drink. I'm going to go to hell. Well, Jesus drank wine. Now, he didn't get drunk. Yeah, but we human. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, the herbs. If you grow it, you can smoke it. It's herbs. So, you know, it's different point of view. And not to cut you off, Cooley, but let me dive into it for a second.
Right.
I grew up with the notion at a young age of going to church. I did that to maybe I was like 8, 9 years old, because that's the structure of the family my mother had me around at the time. And I come to find out today, you know, I learned this way back. They was all hypocrites. You know what I'm saying? You sending me to church, but you running the whole house. So it was different shit going on growing up. But as a child, I was taught to stay in a child's place.
Right. Don't ask no question.
Till I had to be in them streets.
Right.
Now, 7, 8, 9 years old, I was under that. So I had a understanding, or I was being taught religion. I didn't agree with it then. You know, I don't want to sit in church for 5 hours listening to the old man.
WW, choir rehearsal, 2 or 3.
All that.
Right.
So,
I don't know what church you went to. Mine was all day.
Yeah, well, I was bad enough where 5 hours, I done acted enough to where they going to get me out after 5 hours. It's Sunday, I got other things I can be doing. I can play marbles, I can do whatever. At that time, I was a kid.
Right.
But then, you know, once the motherfucker crossed and got them teens, life became different. You know, that faith of a mustard seed didn't mean nothing when you out there wondering how God gonna allow me to go through this. So it's like, and then at that point, then you get introduced to different religions.
Right.
And then technically religions are like gang members. They all beefing.
Yeah.
Don't none of them get along.
They started out of wars.
They start wars. They throw flags at each other. They take jabs at each other.
They kill each other.
Yeah.
And they all feel like theirs is the head.
That's the way to go.
That's the way to go.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It doesn't matter. Like you said, I like how you put it, Gene. It's your relationship.
Right.
Higher,
yeah, I like what Gene said.
Yeah, whatever that may be, because I have a few friends that's into spirituality.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely can see that whole concept. You know, like you said, religion, independent Christianity, whatever it is, put you in a box. So now you figure if you step outside that box, now how's everybody in the church gonna look at me? How's everybody in, when I go to the mosque gonna look at me? Whatever it may be. So we all human. Pastors are humans. You hear about all the stuff in the news that happened with these people like, oh, that was my pastor. I can't believe they did that. That is still a man. That's still a woman. So they live day to day like we live day to day. They struggle like we struggle. Some of them fall off. Does that make them less than? No.
I mean, we fall off.
We fall off. Exactly. So that's what I say. It's so hard to say, okay, I'm going to just be this way and be stuck in this box. So that's what I love about spirituality, because you can be in whatever zone you want to be in at that moment in time, because it's all based off of your relationship with the higher.
Yeah, and when you get that spirituality, you even converse with the Most High differently. You know what I'm saying? It's more just like, hey, I'm finna kick it and chill back and talk to the Most High. I need to have
a regular old conversation.
Yeah, it's not like you got to get down and get on your knees like they tell, like you were taught. You know what I'm saying? You can lay in your bed and have a conversation and pray.
Right.
So, yeah.
I remember my grandmama used to have us praying, nigga, for an hour, nigga. I'd be like, damn.
Yeah.
This prayer better get answered after all of this.
You know? I mean, you know?
Right.
And we all know that there's something bigger than us.
It has to be. It has to be.
For real, it has to be. You know, people be like, I'm going to set my alarm clock for 9:00. You upstairs or you in the other room, and you know, Sally's alarm clock went off at 9, but Sally ain't made no moves. Because that alarm clock don't wake you up.
Right. Period. That's it.
Yeah. Period.
Yeah. And I agree with that. I know, Cooley, when you was talking about like death and, losing people the same way, like when I lost my mom, I think that was the ultimate loss. You know what I mean? So I grieve differently than probably most people. You know what I mean? And I have a cutoff switch that could just be cut off.
Right.
I'm not going to linger with it only because of that, because I feel like life is too short. And I also know that she wouldn't want me to sit around and just be miserable the rest of my life. Like,
no, and it's the route we all got to take. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah.
We all got to take that route. It ain't no way around it. Hell, I ain't ready to go. That's why, at my age, I try not to do nothing to rush it. I want to see heaven, but I ain't in no rush.
Right.
Hey, heaven ain't going nowhere. It's gonna be right there in 20 years.
Right, it's gonna be there whenever you get there.
It's gonna be there when I get there. So I don't speed on the highway. You know what I mean? I ain't in no rush to get nowhere. If I'm late, goddamn it, I'm just late.
Well, Cooley. Oh, sorry, Gene. Go ahead.
Speaking on heaven, I often ask myself this: like, how do we even know if there is a heaven or hell? Who has come to tell us a heaven or a hell? How do we even know? We know what we were taught, so we don't believe that, right? You know what I'm saying? But how do you even really, really know? I know prayer is powerful because it works for me.
Oh,
so power of prayer. Can't nobody take that from me. That's my truth. But heaven or hell, how do any of us know if there's really a heaven or hell? I know we just do what we would, what we supposed to do.
Basically, how do we know the afterlife exists?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
We don't.
We don't.
Like you just said, Gene. Like you just said, Gene. Ain't nobody. I didn't heard. I mean, there's stories in the Bible about a man that came back.
Come back down and tell me, hey, I'm up here. I need you to get your shit together so you can come up here.
We up here too, right?
Yeah. I ain't never known nobody or myself that that talk to anybody that done died and left. So my belief is, I don't know, but I'd rather live. It's like, how hard is it to like live a good life as best you can, right?
Just in case.
Just in case.
You don't
just
miss
in case.
I'm
live the best life just in case, because
absolutely,
if there is a hell, and it's like the stories they tell,
I don't want to go.
No parts of it.
And if I end up there, I won't have no choice about it anyway.
Right.
Absolutely.
No.
So I think that's what keeps me going, is that, I'd rather live right. So if it is a heaven, that's where I want to be, because I definitely want to the rest of my life. If it's a fire, it might just be hot water. Who knows? But I prefer heaven. Right.
But I believe I'm gonna live my life and not live a life of fear and constant beating yourself for having a shortcoming or making a mistake. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm human. I do some shit.
Yeah.
I ain't out, as long as I ain't out killing nobody and molesting no children, doing no crazy shit. I'm a human. I'm gonna make some bad choices. I'm gonna do some stuff. It's about growing from it and then not repeating it.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
Learning a lesson.
Now to piggyback on what we were talking about as far as losing people or losing close ones to you, the way your upbringing affects that, in my opinion, of who you are as an individual, how you deal with losses, right, based on how you was your upbringing. Because for me, by the time I really lost somebody that I can consider that was really close to me, I was numb to death, period. So, I can honestly say that was the first time I shed a tear, but it went like that. It was because I got caught in reality of the moment. This is it. But from that point out, it was like I didn't blame my God. I don't pray to Allah. I don't pray to Jesus Christ. I just pray to God. Because it's so many different forms. But at the end of the day, it's all God. At the end of the day, you can address it how you want to address it.
It ain't gonna be with one.
It can't be with one. Now, we all speak different languages, so of course there's gonna be different terminology to it. Who am I to sit here? I'm not a Bible packer. I couldn't tell you a quote out of Nan Bible, Nan Quran, Nan Watchtower, but I done been dealing with people in my life, my whole life, that indulge in different religions.
Right.
And at the end of the day, the question is still the same. If your God is that, why is this happening? Why did your God allow that to happen? And for me being me the way I was brought up, I'm sorry to admit, he does everything for a reason. Don't set with me. Fuck that. I don't want to hear that. Excuse my language, but that don't.
That all things happen.
Yeah, all things happen because
right.
He has a purpose for everything. That don't set with me because that's going to trigger me for the rest of my life. That action for every action is a reaction.
And I don't believe in you die by the sword you live by too. I don't believe that. I don't believe that scripture at all.
Well, that's saying that you can't be forgiven then. That's what it's saying. If it's contradictory, right? It's like if I do something, you're saying I'm going to die by that same thing. But if I'm forgiven, right?
I shouldn't die
what's the purpose of it?
Yeah. But yeah, it's like I don't believe that, because I had two nephews who were murdered execution style at 7 and 11 years old. They wasn't out there executing nobody. You feel me? So after that, I was like, oh no, God, I can't accept that one. That you died by the sword you live by, because that's just no. Before that, then yeah, maybe I would go along with the the play of it. But after my nephews, no.
You've experienced something that says like, how can that be so, right?
That makes sense, right?
Yeah. So when something don't make sense to me, then yeah, I'd be like, okay, no, I can't go for the okie doke right there. I gotta start
looking at this differently.
Right.
Yeah. Revamp.
Right.
Conversation. It's time to hold a conversation with yourself, Gene, and figure this out. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, them conversations work.
You said
Definitely.
When you don't like that, all things happen for a reason. When you think about it, though, it's like a test in certain senses. Of course, I wouldn't say that somebody dying is a test, but like you say, every reaction, there's a reaction. So for every lesson, there was something that needed to be learned, right?
But
they say every lesson is a blessing. That's the
especially if you taking the lesson from that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're not gonna take the lesson and keep doing something the same exact way, then that still kind of reflect like for every action, there's a reaction.
But that revert me back to something Cooley said earlier. Am I wrong for not getting the lesson? There's not a manual on that. So losing loved ones, how am I, or any situation, how am I to confirm, how is it confirmed that I understand what that lesson was that I got? Some lessons go right over your head and you don't even see the shit.
Right. And that
what about
and there's still a reaction. Yeah. Yet there's still a reaction because something happened. And if there's no experience or nothing, no tool to enlighten you on this is what that was and this is why that happened. And this is what, you know what I'm saying? There's no logic to it. It comes back to just belief.
Right.
And what you believe in.
That you born to die.
I mean,
what about what was I gonna say? It was carry on because it just totally went out of my head. It'll come back.
It just puts you in a mindset of being born to die. That's pretty much it.
And that I say you live to die and you die to live. Yeah. Mm-hmm. If you know what I'm saying, like if it's an afterlife, then you die. If there's afterlife, you know what I'm saying? Because we don't know.
Right.
I mean, I pray that it is.
Right.
I mean, I can honestly say this though, from the way that I came up, and I'm being selfish right now. I'm just speaking from the way that I came up. It's got to be a God. I believe that there's a God. Now, have I ever asked him a question and he's ever answered it? And I heard him answer it? No.
No, he gives you other ways.
Yeah, but I'm just saying I'm not as religious.
Verbally.
I'm not as religious as you.
I'm not religious. I'm not religious.
Okay, I'm not as spiritual as you. All right,
yes,
I've been corrected.
Yes, you are.
All right, let me say this.
Don't never say you're not spiritual.
All right, I'm spiritual, but I'm not that spiritual. I'm not spiritual enough to say,
Hey, Bill.
Me. I believe. No.
Hey, Bill, you know what brought you up out of them streets and why you sitting right here at the age you is able to talk about this right here? About this right here?
Why?
It's because your spiritual, that spirit in you has gotten you through. Has gotten you. Hey, so probably 9 out of 10 of your homies is probably dead. That was with you.
15 to 20.
Okay, I just threw a number out there, right? So that right there tells that your spirit has at some point given you the wisdom to always be like
moving forward,
alert or moving or whatever the case may be.
In touch.
Right? Yeah. Because for you to be a family man, a husband, a father, taking pictures and shit, not this gangster right here. You know what I mean? That means that spiritual in you, man, has come up. So you are spiritual.
Yes. You are.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm not spiritual. What I meant by what I said was, or correct me, what I believe I said was, I'm not as spiritual as you. Meaning my belief, my trust, my faith in God is not as strong as yours. Like you said, here's something you said. I know God has blessed me because I'm still here. You know, do I pray as much as the next? My wife probably pray more than me. Ain't no problem. She do because I don't pray too much at all. I'm at that point in my life that whatever's going to happen is going to happen. I believe in God. If it's meant, then I don't have to do all that other stuff. That's my logical philosophy right now with my way of thinking. Whether it's right or wrong, I've had pastors in my life. I went the religious route. I went through from a kid to being a grown man dealing with a church and dealing with the politics in church. Church politics is just worse than a freaking nightclub. You know what I'm saying? That communion that they pass, that damn near alcohol.
Man, that communion. What about that 10%? Like
yeah, all that. That's what I'm saying. It's a hustle. So as coming up the way I did, it made me feel a certain way about religion, period. I feel like if I got $1,000, I'm going to throw $1,000 in the air, and whatever hit the floor is mine. Whatever God wanted, He's going to keep. It's His philosophy. I ain't got to go give it to the church. They ain't doing nothing for me. The deacon and the pastor got a Mercedes. I know what it costs to drive a Mercedes. That shit ain't cheap.
Hey, and I can't argue with you on that one. I don't believe that when they see 10%, that means I got to get a church or a temple 10%. It's as long as I'm giving. As long as I'm giving to somebody that's needing. And at that point, you give them more than 10%. You give them more than 10%. Right. If you being that good person, if you helping your kids, you helping your family, you helping people out there that need help. When you hand somebody $20, $30, $40, help somebody do something, you always give them more than that 10%. Yeah. But for me to get 10% to, like Bill say, a pastor riding in a Benz doing better than me. To help you
flourish, to help you shine.
And his job ain't to do nothing but show up on Sunday. They ain't got no 9 to 5. Hey, I can't go for that one.
Right. I work hard all week. I ain't even see it's a difference in life when you actually get up and you clock that motherfucking the clock. It's a different way of life when you get up and get dressed and go hit the block and hustle. It's a whole different life. You know what I mean?
My father said that your pastors and preachers got the coldest game in the world.
Oh yeah.
My daddy said that a long time ago when he was alive. Like they the coldest players and pimps in the world. And I was like,
they hustling God. They hustling God and pimping broken-hearted people.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Broken-hearted people.
And that's
the sad thing. And people sit up in the church house, but again, I go back to you just have to have that personal relationship with God. You ain't got to be, it was at one time when if you was religious, you have to fellowship. You have to be underneath that roof for anything to work, for your blessing to come. You can't be in your room and just having your own thing going on. You have to fellowship. You got to be under the. And I was like, no, because you go fellowship. Who are you fellowshipping with? Do you even really know these people you're fellowshipping with?
Nah, hey, can I tell you a testimony to that? For maybe a span of 4 years, we joined a community,
a church,
and we lived maybe when we joined that church, we was maybe 30, 45 minutes from that foundation, from where it was. Then they turned around and moved another 20 minutes further. So we drove there out of faith. We ended up relocating in our own lives an hour and 40 minutes away. We used to drive faithfully Sunday, the whole family, an hour every 2 hour drive just to get to church. And to see the politics that was going on in church, from a different, my wife, my kids were getting one, we all have our own observations of things, and I'm not knocking my church or my pastor or nothing. This is not to throw mud at nobody. It's just my observation. And if they happen to watch this, why I backed up.
Observation.
Why I backed up because of my belief. It's like I'm doing all of this to get down there and y'all still asking for something. But when I say I need something, I can't get it.
Right.
So, and I'm not asking God for this. I'm asking you for this.
You. Absolutely.
Right. Hey, don't tell me to have faith when I know I've been struggling to pay my light bill and they're going to turn it off Friday. And I just need $150, and you telling me to have faith, God gonna make a way. Pastor, you the way. You the way, Pastor.
Yeah.
I done put more than this in your bucket.
And look, you ain't even got to go to your safe for $150. You can go right in your pocket.
Right.
Yeah. Now I've had a pastor like that in my life, you know, in my adult life, you know, like in my first marriage, you know, who's more like a father to me, right? But this man was like somebody who was like in my hard times, like helping me pay my light bill, helping my family get food. You know what I mean? When I was going through stuff, you know, he didn't have nothing. He was giving the church and everybody everything to the point to where you was like, Pastor, you got to stop
giving to everybody.
You got to stop. I know God said to give to the needy, but you becoming the needy.
Right. Now you the needy.
Right.
You know? And I think at some point you got to use like your human common sense and like know when people are taking advantage. You know, know when it's like I can only help you so much, man, before it ain't no conscience to me when you make that bad mistake.
Right.
If I done did for you 2-3 times and you done burnt me 2-3 times, hey, when you fall on your face, I ain't gonna wish you bad luck, but
it is what it is.
It
is what it is.
You know, I can't do no more. For every action, there's a reaction.
Right. And
for every action, it's a reaction.
That's why you, like you said, you gotta really. They have to use discernment when they helping people, because you can help some people to a certain degree, and others you have to kind of like cut off. Like, look, that's enough is enough, because I'm here to help and I'm here to do for my congregation, but at some point you have to do for yourself, because you do have people that do that, and that's what make it hard, I think, when you go and ask for help sometimes, because
it's used.
They burned so many times or used, they just like I can't, like, you know.
And to piggyback on that, it's like from my observation, if I'm struggling and I see you getting this intake in, and yet you're still struggling, who is God helping? This is your place of worship. So much has happened at. So it's like me looking at, how is all these bad things happening to every location you establish and become part of as this community? And it's like, wait a minute, bro. And then, you know, when you get to knowing people personally, like, this is my pastor, so I know who his daughter is. I know who his wife is. I know who his, you know, they know who my daughter is, who my wife is. We're married. We have conversations with our pastor, so they know a little too much sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
And they utilize that shit.
And at the same time, right, they still human.
They still human.
Yeah, and I'm not mad. Like you said, once you realize at the end of the day, that play come in your head, that this is a play, my nigga. This is all a hustle just to get by. Because if you're doing all this with all this faith of a mustard seed and every location is going belly up, how, you know, I'm just traveling further and further and further. I'm just going deeper and deeper down it.
Hey, and the excuse is always the devil. The devil. The devil trying to bring us down. No, you might be the devil, Pastor. Pastor might be the devil. In certain situations, I'm just saying, they human. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're real human when they doing, you know, the thing. They human.
Yeah.
But let you do the thing, you a sinner.
Right.
Oh yeah.
You know what? And that's why talking about religion and politics is just, it's so touchy of a situation, because you see it from different perspectives, you know.
Yeah.
You don't want to disrespect nobody. Like, if that's what you do, that's what you do. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, I mean, run it how you want to run it, but like you said, it got to be some type of understanding the people that's looking at it. Like, listen here, this don't look right. You know what I mean? This ain't working right.
Like
when it's not right, and walk away from it.
Exactly.
If that's what you're saying, that's your truth. You don't like it, walk away. They'll get it sooner or later if it's not right for them.
Exactly.
You understand? Everything don't work for everybody when it comes to that. And like you were just saying that conversations are real touchy. I usually don't do religious conversations, politics, and sports. I usually don't do those because they can become debatable, and then end up arguing with somebody who becomes a fool, start acting like a fool.
Right.
You know.
Right.
Well, let's do what's the things called that the thing that you do
I don't know.
where you supposed to disclaimer right now. This is all our personal beliefs. So anybody that watches just feel like this is an attack on any religious conversation. Not what we're doing.
No,
no. Be the first to tell you. I respect your opinion, but opinions are like assholes. Everybody got one. So this is mine.
Right.
So don't take it personal. That's all we're saying. Because we didn't start this conversation. It's not about.
And none of us went and read the doctrine
of religion. We ain't attacking
the
Jesus,
1800s and all of that stuff. Like we ain't went
right. Hey, I'm just going based on what my inner person tell me is right and wrong. I know what's right and wrong. You know what I mean? And I know what's being a good person, what's being a bad person. I know when I'm gonna have to ask forgiveness for taking vengeance.
Right.
and being human, you know what I mean? There's going to be situations where I'm going to fall short of going to hell, but that don't make me a bad person, right?
No,
if I react as a human, you know, you come and you kill my daughter and my child or some shit, and I know it say I'm supposed to let the law handle it.
But they ain't fast enough.
But do it, make it wrong. If I gonna handle it, I'm gonna go to jail for the rest of my life. Right. But is that gonna keep me out of heaven? I don't think so.
Because let me say this. You go do something like that to one of my children or family members, it ain't gonna be nothing human about me. It's gonna be a beast.
I'm going exactly. So is that gonna send me to hell? I don't think so.
Whatever traffic bears. If I gotta go to hell, then that's where I'm. If there's a hell, we gotta.
I gotta go where I gotta go. Wherever I gotta go, I got my room key. When I get my room key, I'm ready to go clock in. Check in.
Yeah.
That is so sad. But you know what? Yeah, like you said, it's touchy. It's just our opinions, what we experience. And like you said, you think about the grandmothers and stuff. I'm a grandmother, but I don't take my grandbabies to church every Sunday and all day on Sundays. It's totally different from
it's real different
back in those days.
Right. They're gonna want to take their devices to church with them. That's the only way they're gonna go and sit up and be still. Other than that, you like, what you doing?
Right. Well, put that down.
Right.
Let me say this. You're right about that, but in our defense, and I say our because for every grandbaby she got, I got. So in our defense, grandparents these days ain't the same as the grandparents back then. And it ain't the grandparents' fault.
No.
You feel me? It's not, because we all are grandparents. We have that substance to give not only our kids, but our grandkids. But we're all still boxed into a certain life that we still got to live to take care of ourselves, to provide that, because none of us in this conversation is at that point in life to where we done gave up on our life and we only live it for our kids.
Mm-hmm.
So
we still got some life in it.
Wait, you know that saying, when my kids get grown and I'm in my 40s or whatever, don't judge me. That's how don't judge me.
Don't judge me.
Grown.
Look, just pray. If you got something to say about me, just pray for me, please. Don't judge me.
Thank you. Thank you.
But my kids are grown though. My kids are grown. I didn't do this when I wasn't turning up. I don't mind being the old head to my kids. I don't mind being that. But when I get around everybody else that got in my lane that got kids, now we can talk about, I'm grown. You've been doing this since your kids were teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You've been out here rough riding life just the whole hard way.
Well, like I said, my thing is I don't have no little kids. So the way I move and maneuver is totally different.
Fuck you mean where you move? You don't move no type of way. Where you moving?
That's what I do.
I'm just saying, I'm right here. Shit, you ain't moving like that. We do the same type of moving.
We moving and grooving.
Hey, I'm just adding controversy to the conversation. That's all.
He know we moving and grooving.
But you know what? The grandmother.
Oh no, I ain't moving and grooving for disclaimer for that.
Wait, disclaimer.
No, you feel me? I ain't moving or grooving.
That's for a whole nother conversation.
Hey, disclaimer, you feel me? No.
That's going over my head. The moving and grooving.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Those that it means something to, they got it.
They know.
What
I guess homie, huh? Homie, I don't even know what happened just now.
It was one of them relative moments. Gene.
Okay.
You feel me? It was one of them relative moments.
I got it now. Look, maybe I should have took that little sip off of this shot. I should have probably just took the whole shot.
You should have.
No, that means you got another one because we finna switch over to something else.
I do got another one in my California glass. Since I'm not.
Well, I'm gonna tell you like this.
Are you in Cali?
Yeah, I'm in Cali.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This episode of Gconnet is brought to you by my folks over at Trust Me Vodka, Ultra Premium Vodka. Trust me, it go, homie. Holla at your boy.
So check out the sponsor, Trust Me Vodka, at trustmevodka.com and Trust Me Vodka on Instagram.
Gconnet, with different generations, have real conversations. Trust me.
Trust me.
With D and G2Bs, a generation conversation. If you ain't got the patience,